Hello and welcome to my latest career video. Now in this career video we're going back into the 1899-10 period, okay, for a contender down at featherweight known as Kid Herman. Now he's not to be mistaken with P. Kid Herman, the future top 10 all-time bantamweight. So let us go through Kid Herman's career, beginning with his major opponents. Now Kid Herman, okay, fought the legendary Abertel on 2 occasions. He scored no wins, he suffered 1 loss and 1 draw. He did defeat former world champion Dave Sullivan in a singular fight, then fought a draw, okay, to the dangerous Harry Lewis. Next up, the old master Joe Gans, okay, defeated Kid Herman in a singular fight, as did another great lightweight of the time, Packy McFarland. Good evening, Martin. Hope you're well, buddy, in this horrible, dark, windy and rain-swept environment we are in the UK at the moment. I don't know about where you are, but it's terrible here. So after losing to Gans and Packy McFarland in singular fights, he fights Clarence Forbes, a very capable fighter who will be covered on a video. Kid Herman scored 1 win while suffering 2 losses and fighting 2 draws from that 5-fight series. And he fought the capable Tommy Sullivan, okay, in a trilogy. Kid Herman scored 2 wins with 1 loss and no draw. He then fought 2 fights against dangerous contender Benny Younger, scoring 1 win with 1 loss. Following that were singular wins over 3 contenders, the first being Austin Rice. Kid Herman then defeated Jack McClelland and then scored a singular win against Chester Goodwin. Next up name on here is the underrated Young Earn, who defeated multiple Hall of Famers himself. Kid Herman fought him on 2 occasions, scoring no wins with 1 loss and 1 draw. And we close out his major opponents, okay, fighting Eddie Hanlon, a good contender of the time, okay, scoring a win in a singular fight. So there's 22 fights highlighted there. Kid Herman didn't have 150, 200 fight career. He had well under 100 fight career. So from those 22 fights, Kid Herman scored 9 wins with 8 losses and 5 draws. So going on to his stat slides, Kid Herman, okay, scored 19 knockouts. He scored 8 knockouts in 3 rounds or less and 0 knockouts in the first round. Now Kid Herman scored 1 KO against a champion, 0 against Hall of Famers. He also scored 1 KO against a pound-for-pound fighter, and Kid Herman scored 0 KOs against rated fighters, being a pre-rating era fighter. And for his time, he really didn't fight that many rounds, even though it's a lot even compared to fighters now who have quite large careers. But in his time, it wasn't that many rounds. At 563, Kid Herman fought 28 title fight rounds, and he fought totals of 58 rounds against champions, 64 rounds against Hall of Famers, and 73 rounds against pound-for-pound fighters. Now Kid Herman, of course, fought no rated opponents. He fought many opponents who would have been rated, but there were no ratings in his time, so he's fought 0 rounds against top 10 fighters, top 3 fighters and ring champions. So on to the slide against champions. Kid Herman had 5 fights against champions, scoring 1 win with 2 losses and 2 draws. Kid Herman defeated 1 individual champion, that being Dave Sullivan, and he did score a stoppage over him, so he's knocked out the same champion individually, Dave Sullivan. So on to the Hall of Fame slide. Okay, Kid Herman had 5 fights against Hall of Famers. He scored no wins. Okay, lost to high profile fighters, you know, like Abertel, Packy McFarland, Joe Gans, etc., Drew Harry Lewis, etc., etc. The other draw being Abertel. Certainly mixed in good company, but never quite managed to get one of those big scalps on his roster. So from those 5 fights against Hall of Famers, Kid Herman has no wins with 3 losses and 2 draws, and thus he defeated no Hall of Fame fighters individually, and he scored knockouts over 0 Hall of Famers. So on to the pound-for-pound slide. Kid Herman had 6 fights against pound-for-pounders, scoring 1 win with 3 losses and 2 draws, and the pound-for-pound fighter he defeated was the champion he defeated, okay, that is former champion Dave Sullivan, and as highlighted on the champion slide, he did stop him, so he scored knockout over 1 individual pound-for-pound rated fighter. So on we go to our next slide, which is rated opponents. Kid Herman, of course, fought no fights against top 10 rated opponents with no ratings, so he's zeros. He also had no fights against top 3 fighters or ring champions, thus defeated no rated fighters individually and scored knockouts over no rated fighters individually. So very shy compared to Robinson's huge numbers. So on we go, okay, to title fight slide now. Kid Herman did have 2 world title fights. He had a record of no win, 1 loss and 1 draw. He made no title defences then, of course, and scored no title fight KOs. He also has no wins against top 10 fighters, top 3 fighters or ring champions, or champions, Hall of Famers and pounders in title fights. More of a basic video this. Kid Herman, was not a world champion, therefore those slides are quite empty. Mainly it's highlighting his career. Some videos are like that, you find, and other videos are more thick. When we get to Rosenblum's overcoming week, yeah, that's very thick. Okay, as is Young Earns, etc., etc. But some others, depending on career, the videos are either small or large. So in world titles won, Kid Herman captured no world titles, no lineal titles, and no undisputed titles. Now some people would say, well, Bill, why even bother doing a video on this guy? He's never been a world champion. He didn't beat a Hall of Famer, although he mixed in really good company. The fact is that Kid Herman was a good contender in his time, okay, and as well as all the major fighters who I covered on my last playlist, I'm also adding lots of the contenders in there, and that's just to flesh the playlist out. So I get the all-time greats, the Hall of Fame level fighters, the champions, the pounders, and the contenders. Even some of the more, I'll say, enhanced journeymen who were fringe top 10, top 10, top 20 caliber, but can defeat good fighters. So just to flesh out the playlist. So there's the video on Kid Herman. Okay, more videos will be coming over coming days, weeks, months, and years. Okay, while I look to finish my 1,000+ new career format files. I'm having a bit of a break from that, actually. I was grinding for 6 months a year. When I started my top 1,000, I thought I'll take a break, and I'm going to take a break until end of year. And start of January, I'll re-kick off on career files, ready for a bigger year of them next year. But until then, for the last few months, I'll just chill, power some videos out, blah, 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 blah. So there is the video on Kid Herman. Okay, more videos coming soon. Big shout out to guys in chat, Junk Irishman 2 and Martin, of course. Unboxing Librarian. I'm out for now.